The autumn rain drummed steadily against the windows of Le Bernardin, one of Manhattan's most prestigious restaurants. Patricia Crews adjusted her elegant navy dress as she approached the mahogany hostess stand, her heart racing with anticipation. Tonight was supposed to be perfect, a celebration of her recent promotion to senior marketing director at a major publishing house. "Good evening," Patricia said with a warm smile to the hostess, a young woman with perfectly styled blonde hair and cold blue eyes. "I have a reservation under Crews for 7:30. The hostess's expression shifted almost imperceptibly as she took in Patricia's appearance, an accomplished black woman in her early 50s, impeccably dressed, but clearly not what she expected. "I'm sorry, but I don't see any reservation under that name," she replied curtly, barely glancing at her computer screen. Patricia's brow furrowed. "That's strange. I made it 3 weeks ago and received a confirmation email. Could you check again?" "Please, CREWS, ma'am, I've checked thoroughly. There's no reservation, and unfortunately we're completely booked tonight." The hostess's tone grew more dismissive, her voice carrying an undertone that made Patricia's stomach tighten with a familiar, painful recognition. Behind Patricia, she could hear the gentle murmur of other patrons being warmly welcomed and seated, including a couple who had just walked in without a reservation, but were being accommodated immediately. The contrast was stark and undeniable. "Listen," Patricia said, her voice steady despite the humiliation burning in her chest. "I can show you the confirmation email on my phone. There must be some mistake." The hostess didn't even look at the phone Patricia extended. "Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to step aside. You're holding up our other guests." Her voice carried a finality that echoed through Patricia's soul like a door slamming shut. As Patricia stood there, feeling the weight of stares from other diners, her phone buzzed with a text from Terry. "Running 10 minutes late, babe. Can't wait to celebrate with you." Her husband, the Terry Crews, beloved actor and former NFL player, had no idea his wife was standing in the entrance of a restaurant, fighting back tears of frustration and embarrassment. 20 minutes later, Terry Crews burst through the restaurant's glass doors, his imposing 6'3" frame filling the entrance. Despite the rain, his infectious smile lit up the space as he spotted Patricia sitting alone on a bench near the coat. Check. Her celebration dress now seeming somehow dimmed. "Hey, beautiful!" Terry called out, his voice carrying its characteristic warmth. But as he got closer, his expression shifted. After 15 years of marriage, he could read his wife's face like his favorite book. "Pat, what's wrong?" Patricia looked up, trying to compose herself. They said we don't have a reservation. They won't seat us, Terry." Terry's jaw tightened slightly, but his voice remained calm. "Let me go talk to them." He wasn't angry, not yet. He'd learned long ago that assumptions could be dangerous, and he wanted to understand the full situation. Approaching the hostess stand, Terry's presence immediately commanded attention. Several diners turned to look, recognition flickering across their faces. The same hostess who had dismissed Patricia now straightened up, her demeanor completely transformed. "Mr. Crews, what an honor. Welcome to Le Bernardin," she gushed, her smile bright and eager. "Do you have a reservation with us tonight?" "Actually, my wife made one 3 weeks ago under our last name. She said there was some confusion." Terry's tone was polite but firm, his eyes studying the hostess's reaction. Carefully, the hostess's face flushed slightly. "Oh, your wife?" She glanced toward Patricia, then back at her computer screen, typing with sudden urgency. "Let me... Oh my goodness, here it is. Crews, party of 2, 7:30. I'm so sorry for the confusion, Mr. Crews. Right this way." Terry didn't move. Instead, he looked directly into the hostess's eyes. What kind of confusion was it exactly? The question hung in the air like the tension before a thunderstorm. The hostess stammered, It must have been a computer error. These things happen sometimes." "Do they?" Terry asked quietly. "Because my wife is one of the most organized people I know. She doesn't make mistakes with reservations." He paused, letting his words sink in. And she's also one of the kindest, most respectful people you'll ever meet. So I'm trying to understand how this confusion happened. The silence stretched uncomfortably as other patrons began to notice the exchange. Terry returned to Patricia, his expression thoughtful rather than angry. "They found our reservation," he said simply, taking her hand. "But we need to make a choice right now." Patricia looked up at him, seeing the careful control in his eyes. The same look he got when he was channeling his emotions into something constructive rather than destructive. "What do you mean?" "We can go in there, have our dinner, and pretend this didn't happen," Terry said, his thumb tracing gentle circles on her hand. "Or we can leave with our dignity intact and make this night about celebrating you properly, somewhere that sees your worth from the moment you walk in." Patricia felt her throat tighten with emotion. After 15 years of marriage, she still marveled at how Terry could make her feel protected without making her feel small, supported without feeling pitied. "You know what hurts the most," she whispered. "It's not just about me. It's about every woman who looks like me who doesn't have the privilege of being married to someone famous. What happens to them when they're treated like this?" Terry nodded slowly. "You're right. And that's exactly why we're going to handle this the right way." Instead of making a scene or demanding to speak to a manager, Terry stood up and walked back to the hostess stand. Several diners were now openly watching, phones discreetly positioned to capture whatever drama might unfold. "I want to thank you for finding our reservation," Terry said to the hostess, his voice carrying clearly through the restaurant's entrance. "But we've decided to dine elsewhere tonight. You see, my wife Patricia is celebrating a major promotion. She's incredibly accomplished and deserving of respect everywhere she goes." He paused, his voice growing warmer but more pointed. "I hope that in the future, every guest who walks through these doors receives the same courtesy and respect that you showed me once you recognized who I was. Every person deserves that, regardless of whether they're famous or not." The hostess's face was now bright red, aware that their conversation had drawn attention from throughout the restaurant. "Because here's the thing," Terry continued, his tone never rising but somehow filling the space. "My wife's worth isn't determined by her connection to me. She was extraordinary before she met me, and she'll be extraordinary long after people forget who I am. Every person who walks through that door has their own story, their own achievements, their own dignity." 30 minutes later, Terry and Patricia sat across from each other at a small family-owned Italian restaurant in Brooklyn, the warm lighting casting a golden glow over their table. The owner, Maria Benedetto, had personally welcomed them after, recognizing Terry. But her warmth extended equally to Patricia from the moment they walked in. "You know what I love about this place?" Patricia said, twirling pasta around her fork, her eyes finally bright again. "She asked about my promotion before she even mentioned your latest movie." Terry laughed, the sound rich and genuine. "That's because she recognizes excellence when she sees it, just like I did 15 years ago when I met this brilliant, beautiful woman who was way out of my league." "Stop it," Patricia blushed, but she was smiling now, really smiling. "I'm serious," Terry continued, reaching across the table to take her hand. "What happened tonight wasn't about you not being enough. It was about them not being enough. Not having enough character, enough decency, enough humanity to see what was right in front of them." Patricia squeezed his hand. "Thank you for not making it about you, for not using your fame like a weapon." "Anger is easy," Terry said thoughtfully. "Making noise is easy. But lasting change comes from how we handle ourselves when people aren't watching, and how we treat others when they can't do anything for us." As they finished their dinner, Maria approached their table with a small cannoli, a single candle flickering on top. "For the promotion celebration," she said with a wink. "And because anyone who makes my Terry here light up like that deserves extra dessert." Patricia laughed, and for the first time all evening, the laughter came from a place of pure joy rather than relief. As she blew out the candle, Terry pulled out his phone. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Posting about tonight," he said. "Not about what happened at the restaurant. That's not the story I want to tell. I want to tell the story about celebrating my incredible wife and about this amazing place that knows how to treat people right. His Instagram post later that evening was simple. A photo of Patricia laughing over her cannoli with the caption, "Celebrating my wife Patricia's promotion to Senior Marketing Director tonight." 15 years later, she still inspires me every day with her grace, intelligence, and strength. Success looks beautiful on you, baby. Proud husband. Celebration done right. Benedetto's Restaurant. The post garnered hundreds of thousands of likes and comments, with many people sharing their own stories of discrimination and dignity, of small businesses that had treated them with kindness, and of partners who had supported them through difficult moments. But perhaps the most meaningful response came from a young black woman named Ashley, who commented, "Mrs. Crews, I'm starting my first day as a marketing coordinator on Monday. Seeing you celebrate your success reminds me that I belong in those rooms too. Thank you for showing us what grace looks like." Patricia read the comment aloud to Terry as they rode home in their Uber, her voice thick with emotion. "See?" Terry said softly. "That's the real victory. Not what we said to that hostess, but what your success says to every Ashley out there, who needs to see that she belongs." As their car pulled up to their Brooklyn Heights home, Patricia turned to her husband. "You know what the best part of tonight was?" "The cannoli," Terry guessed with a grin. "The moment I realized that no one else's inability to see my worth could change what I know about myself," she said, "and having a partner who sees me clearly, even when others don't." Terry leaned over and kissed her forehead. "Always, baby, always. Thank you so much for watching." If this story of dignity, love, and quiet strength inspired you, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more uplifting stories. Share this with someone who needs to be reminded of their worth today, because everyone deserves to be celebrated. Hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest content, and let us know in the comments about a time when someone stood up for you or when you chose grace over anger. Your stories matter, and we love hearing from you.